So, Titanfall is finally released this week. I think it's March 14th on all platforms in the UK, which is where I'm at, so I'll be picking it up then. I just wanted to accompany this video with a bit of discussion about what I thought about the beta, things I liked, things I didn't like, things that I'd like to see in the full release, and things I'd like to see changed. But generally, I'll just say this now, I really enjoyed the beta, and I'll definitely be picking up the full game and making a number of videos, maybe on the weapons, on the Titans, and on basically the game as a whole. No, the beta was extremely enjoyable. The guns, although they didn't have the recoil of Battlefield or even Armour or DayZ, which are other games I like to play. They had nice sounds. They looked good, even though they weren't real weapons. They're futuristic. If you didn't get a chance to watch any other footage of it, I'm sure you don't live under a rock, and you probably have seen some of the videos or even played it yourself. But no, generally the guns are cool. They're good. My only worry is that there's not going to be enough variety, because it's not like say a Battlefield game or even a Call of Duty where you have loads and loads of different variants of assault rifles, SMGs, shotguns, revolvers and stuff. From the beta, the arsenal is extremely limited, but I know Respawn have announced that there are other guns, and maybe even more that they haven't announced yet. So I'm interested to see how that will play out, and yeah, try them out. It's always one of the most exciting things for me about a new shooter, is checking out the weapons and the arsenal and getting used to their sounds and recoils, etc. Not that that's going to be a problem in this game, which is one thing that it's a bit annoying for me, because I'm a Battlefield player over it rather than a Call of Duty player. I like to have a bit of recoil. However, I didn't feel that it took away from the experience. I actually didn't mind the fact that there was no recoil, and I thought I wasn't going to enjoy that aspect of the game because of my time with Battlefield and DayZ and things like that. So that surprised me, really, the fact that a Call of Duty sort of arcadey feel to the guns didn't put me off. I think one of the main reasons why, unlike Call of Duty, it didn't just feel fake or unexciting using the shotguns is because of the visual and audio feedback you get when you fire them. For example, the semi-auto shotgun, which looked a bit like a sort of futuristic version of a Sega 12, it scattered flame, and the sound was impressive. The AR in the game, in the beta, had even less kick, but to me it fitted in with sort of the realistic future that the lore presented in the beta by almost representing an assault rifle variant of the Chris Vector. So that's my take on it. If you look at the model, you can see that the magwell is actually quite similar, and I reckon that the Chris, the Vector, was actually the basis of that, and they thought we could make a futuristic SMG assault rifle, version of the SMG. That's the Chris, and I think that sort of grounded in reality of their lore really drew me to the experience. The big Titan weapons, my god, I mean they're absolutely massive. They take up huge amounts of your screen. They make a hell of a lot of noise when you shoot them, and the visual satisfaction you get by shooting like 5 of the bots, or even another player with them, or another Titan, even better. You get bits of metal flying everywhere. Although the environments are not destructible, you still get the visual feedback of things exploding and causing carnage, and as a result of that, the guns sort of still feel realistic, even if they're not, by their recoil patterns and futuristic nature. The next element that was extremely interesting and almost, I'd say, innovative of the beta was the addition of bots to the maps. Now, this is something that I was a bit worried about, and I know my friends who also played the beta were almost skeptical of even trying it, because they were like, oh, it's got bots in it, it's just going to be casual, it's going to be silly, it's going to be boring, they're just going to get in the way and all that sort of thing. But having tried it, the bots are not just there to be annoying. They're not just there to pad out the maps because they don't want to put more players in it. Well, to an extent they're there to pad out the maps, but I would argue they actually make the maps more exciting. I'd argue they're more part of the map design than the gameplay. They're there to sort of create the atmosphere that you get with, say, Battlefield, where you have explosions going off in all directions, you've got helicopters just being blown up. The sort of visual excitement you get from a game like that, a big, grandiose sort of multiplayer experience, is sort of delivered by having these bots just going at each other for the whole game. They're just having wars and you just get involved, and it gives you the satisfaction as well for casual players and even hardcore players. Like, everyone has an off day when they play multiplayer shooters every now and then, and if you're not in the mood for taking it seriously, you could literally just hunt bots. And although they're kind of cannon fodder, you do have the Spectres, which are more dangerous than the normal grunts. And I expect in the full release there'll be some other bots that maybe are even more challenging, because they don't put up much of a fight. But the visual satisfaction of rounding a corner and seeing a pilot, killing him, turning the next corner and seeing 3 grunts facing the other way, it gives you the same satisfaction as if it was a pilot there. And you just mow into them, and it's satisfying, it's fun. And that's the whole thing about this game. It might not be as sort of intense as DayZ or as competitive. So people that say the bots are stupid, they're fair enough, it's your opinion. But in my opinion, it just makes an already good experience more exciting, more diverse, and gives players who aren't necessarily as good at first-person shooters as others a chance to actually have fun in a shooter. I know critics are saying similar things to this, and I just hope that the bots, maybe for some game modes, aren't as numerous, and then people that don't like the bots won't have anything to complain about. But yeah, that's just an idea. I actually like the fact there are bots. And that brings me on to map design. The 2 maps that are in the beta, Angel City was the main one, the primary one that had been shown in all the E3 trailers and gameplays and all of that before, and this was the urban combat, sort of close quarters, infantry, an extremely small map, but because of all the different rooftops, they all managed to be at different levels, with loads and loads of cover everywhere. Although it wasn't a big map, it felt big. It didn't feel like a tiny little arena, it felt like a huge city, and you were just fighting in a part of it, and that to me was quite a surprise, because it's not a very big map, but it feels big, it feels expansive. There's so many little paths, and with the wall running you can just get onto any roof you want and just take up a position, and it meant that there's more than one path to do anything in the game. You see a pilot on another roof, there are about 5 or 6 different ways you can get to him to kill him. The next map was called Fracture, and this was a larger, more open map, trees and foliage, rather than the sort of urban jungle that was Angel City. Even so, there was still a number of places for free running. There were buildings, there were cliffs that you could get on with some free running. So it didn't take away from that part of the sort of infantry gameplay. You can still free run and get around however you wanted. But it also meant there were larger open spaces for Titans. However, infantry could use cliffs and little secret passageways, get on the back of the Titans, rodeo them, and kill them. Out of the 2 maps, I really actually did enjoy Fracture. I reckon you can get some really good strategies going for that map, and I really liked it. Only thing I will say is that the passageways, even if they're bigger than Angel City, are still not quite big enough for everyone to get a Titan at once. It becomes a bit like bumper cars, with everyone bumping into each other and everyone shooting each other's backs instead of shooting the other team. Even so, a bit further into the game, once a few Titans have been destroyed, it becomes a tactical Titan v Titan match, and it's really intense. It really is. If you're the last Titan alive, and the other team still have about two Titans left, and you're the last one, that becomes tense. It really does. So that's really good. On to the Titans now. So what does the Titan gameplay come down to? Is it good? Is it better than infantry? Is it worse than infantry? And to be honest, I think it comes down to taste and opinion. Now, I'm a huge fan of infantry combat, and like when I play Battlefield, I tend to not use vehicles that much. I'm more of an infantry player. Even so, I do like using tanks on Battlefield, and I do like using Titans on Titanfall. But just as in Battlefield, I actually prefer blowing up other people in tanks and in Titans than I do actually using them. So it takes a lot longer to kill a Titan from another Titan than it does to kill a player in infantry combat. But they're not invincible. They can be taken down by a single pilot if you're not careful. So it is, again, it's tactical. It's not just charging in and destroying everything, unless of course they're grunts, who are quite useless against a Titan. But yeah, generally it's good, it's fun, but I prefer infantry combat. But I'm sure other people would disagree with me there and prefer the Titan combat. But yeah, it's cool. It really is cool. It's quite badass the first few times you call it in, but it doesn't ever get boring. And I even named my Titan Bob, so that's good. Right, graphics. I'm playing on PC in on highest settings, and it looks good. It really does. It looks good. It doesn't look amazing, and it doesn't need like the most amazing Crytek levels of graphics to be a good game. And if you look in the skies, there's all sorts of things going on. There's explosions, there's little planes or hover ships or whatever they're called, flying around in the sky, making everything interesting. So although it's not going to blow you away graphically, it looks nice. It really does, and it's immersive, extremely immersive. The gameplay is extremely fast. It's fluid, and it works extremely well. So everyone's running around with this incredibly fluid movement system. They're moving fast. They're jumping from wall to wall. Like parkour experts. They've got jetpacks, so they can make these amazing jumps. They can jump from Titan to Titan to get on another roof. It's very, very fluid, very, very fast, which is all excellent. It's really good. And then the fast movement is complemented by absolutely stellar hit detection. It really is good. There's no frustration like Battlefield. I've been having problems with the netcode. I've been having packet loss problems. I've been having things where I'd shoot an entire mag into someone and they wouldn't die. They wouldn't even give me a hit marker, and that's because it's got some bugs and stuff in that game. But I didn't encounter any problems with hit detection, any bugs, anything like that in this game. I had a little bit of internet lag, but that's because I was struggling with a dodgy internet connection at the time of beta. So I'm putting it down to that, and hopefully we'll get a good release for this game, unlike the abysmal release for Battlefield 4. And I am a huge Battlefield fan and was extremely disappointed by how the state of that game on release. However, it is better now. They've definitely worked on it and have improved it. I just hope the final release version is as solid and as polished as the beta. What I would like to see in the game, I've already mentioned my love of weapons in games, and so I'd love to see a great variety of weapons, both Titan weapons and infantry weapons. I'd like to see more detailed customization, maybe the ability to add vinyls or paints to the guns and to the Titans. I'd love to see some new gadgets and things like that. I did not like the smart pistol, so I hope there's not going to be any more of those sort of auto-lock weapons, because that would be very annoying if they've got more than just one of those. The burn cards are interesting. They're sort of like perks that you can just use for one life. They're interesting. I'd like to see some more variations of those. I'd like to see a continuation of the nice map design that we've had here that allows for multiple paths, tactics, and free running. Yeah, and I'd really like to see a couple more varieties of Titan, and I know we are getting those, but maybe if we have more options to customize them to make them sort of personal. that would be really good. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really good shooter. It probably won't take over as my main shooter or my main game, just because it's not the sort of modern warfare style that I'm used to. But I think it's definitely going to be a game I'm playing for a while. So to summarise, it's extremely fun, it's very interesting, it's different. I've never really been into sci-fi, but I found the actual sci-fi sort of lore and all the new stuff they're adding in, like the fact that you'll see a bot pick up his friend when he falls over. Things like that just give so much detail to this game, and from the beta, I reckon it's going to be an extremely fun experience when the full thing releases. As fun factor, I would give probably 5 out of 5 for the beta. I think it's one of the most polished betas I've ever played, and I think it's very fun, and I just hope the full game can live up to the expectations I have for it now that I've played the beta. So I'll leave you guys with this last second escape into the dropship. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and stand by for Titanfall and for more content.
Dropship is en route. Hurry to the evac point.